thing here. There we go. Y'all should have just got the lovely notice that we are recording. And we're going to dive in. Two really quick announcements just as we go through. I do have a little bit of a cough, so if it picks up, I'll do my best to like mute myself and not, not hack into the Zoom here. I'm really sorry. I know how tacky that is. So if I stop mid-sentence and like I get on mute, that's probably why. The second piece is we will maybe take a 5-minute break somewhere around the halfway point of class here, just so that we can run around, attend to anything we need to if we need to today. So just a heads up there. Otherwise, let's begin the way that we have been. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I'm going to get my screens resituated so that I can see everybody and we can see all of the materials here. There we go. And then I make this bigger. Just for fun. Forgive me, you guys, for just a second. I'm going to take a picture of this little setup. Hopefully, I think at some point I'm gonna show you some things on my phone, and I think you'll be able to see this. Oh, that's funny. Here we go. Okay, so QR code on your screen will get you the materials for class today. There is a workbook. It is titled Session 8, For Sale by Owners and Expired Listings, FSBOs, FSBOs and expired. Yet we're actually going to talk kind of as a whole about teleprospecting today. We're also going to talk about something called circle prospecting, which is not in your materials. A reminder, right, that this material has been updated since it was released. We've updated it for this class. Okay, so definitely hop on to grab your materials. And you can take notes on like plain paper too. We're going to walk through with a slide presentation all of the things that are in the materials, but then you have that to refer back to today. So here we go. What have we tackled so far? These are, just perpetually in the wrong order because I haven't gotten around to fixing them, but we've done a lot so far. We've built a really solid foundation. We talked about the core of lead generation. We talked about effort versus skill and why it's so important that we're developing our skills. We dove into marketing and prospecting, how the two work hand in hand to build your real estate business. We talked about calls to action or MOFers, right? Making offers for immediate response, and how all of this is driven on the foundation of I don't think I could hear you guys, but y'all were going to my headset. Can you hear me okay? Still, yes, okay, good. Now. Here we go. Yes, and now I can hear y'all too. Cool. Dun, dun, dun. Yep. So how to build all of this on the foundation of a solid database. We learned about database from Gary Keller, right? He showed us Gary. We watched the Gary in a Box video to learn the foundation of what makes a great database. And then we grew on our database with touch plans and events, right? And how we're able to cement the relationship through those pieces. And then we looked at agent to agent referrals. It's kind of bonus material almost, right? The agent to agent referral being a very database driven activity that uses touch plans to cement relationships and create a really strong foundation, right? And then we started this week with open houses. We talked Monday about growing our database, and we did a mastermind of different ways we could grow our database. We looked at all of the different types of events that we could do, different strategies we could employ, different things that we could leverage to actually grow our database and add people to it. Yesterday, you guys talked about open houses. How'd that go? Give me some feedback. Open houses with Michael Lee.
Michael nailed it.
Yay.
100% agree. He gave a couple of ideas that, I mean, in 10 years of doing open houses, I had never thought of. So it was fantastic.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Now, I trust that because Michael's an absolute pro and he's grown up in real estate, that you guys not only learned some tips and tricks for open houses, but you learned the importance of like preparing for an open house and the power of preparation for an open house. Sure, you can show up the day of with balloons and that'll be great, but preparing for an open house is where the magic happens. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Today, we're going to talk about telephone prospecting. We're going to talk about the three main reasons for telephone prospecting, right? Which is for sale by owners, expired, and circle prospecting. But generally speaking, you're going to find a theme with these, right? It's not just making the phone calls. It's all of the stuff before and afterwards that makes the magic happen. And telephone prospecting is a piece of a lead generation system. So we're going to explore that a little bit more today too. And then as we head in, we're going to finish up the week tomorrow by talking about farming and door knocking, standalone activity and part of a lead generation system. And then next week, we dive into some real fun when we look at social media. We look at both organic and paid reach on social media. We're going to explore video. We're going to dive into internet leads, internet lead conversion, and then we wrap up next week and we wrap up the course talking about nurturing and following up on business and different strategies to create a holistic approach for that. The 4 daily success habits that we're taking a look at every single day. We need to know our numbers, right? That gives us fuel for the conversation, tells us what's going on in the world and in the business, allows us to better gauge what happens to today based on the evidence of what's happened yesterday, which will help us prepare for tomorrow, right? But more importantly, it helps us answer all of those questions about what's happening in real estate and really be strategic when we're working with our buyers and sellers. So we're going to take a look today and see what kind of stories we have to tell. The second daily success habit, lead generating for 3 hours every day, right? Tracking our numbers, knowing exactly what we're doing, where we're spending our time and where that effort's at, and developing our skills, something that we should be doing every single day, sharpening the saw for that. So let's explore a little here. And take a look at the numbers. Did you guys track numbers yesterday?
Yes. Michael couldn't update the spreadsheet. because it wasn't capable, but I wrote them down except for the active listing.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, because I bet he only had view only access. Yep. What did
But
you
I
want?
can give you those numbers if you want to backfill them though.
Oh, yeah, why not? Why not? Let's do it.
So active I didn't get, but you can still get them by going 1 to 8
Right.
on the thing. I had to do that this morning too. Your coming soons was 399. Back on market was 228. Price increase was 122. Decrease was 749. Pending was 1952. And expired was 109. I didn't do withdrawn, sorry.
Okay. Did you
I
get
don't have
closed?
closed either.
Okay.
What was that?
Oh, I was just asking the same thing you were just saying.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know how I missed those two.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's see what we've got in the world today. All right. So we've got new listings, 1457, coming soon, 491. So we're seeing that same big jump as we head towards the weekend here, that big increase in coming soons. People are really utilizing that field right now. Back on the market, 236. Price increase, 135. Price decrease, ha-cha-cha. 824, pendings 1962, and then withdrawns 131, closed 1576, expireds 121. Let's get these active listings here. $44.12. So active listings, you know, falling appropriately as we get midweek, right? Getting ready for, you know, Thursday and Friday for lots of listings to go active. You know, a big chunk of them sitting probably in coming soon right now. Where were we at last Wednesday? I'm going to highlight that one just so that we can kind of see apples to apples here really quick. This Wednesday to last Wednesday, right? So this week over last week, we've got about 500 more homes on the market. This Wednesday versus last Wednesday, about 200 more homes went on the market. Right? So we've got an increase there. Coming soon is really similar, you know, and 25-ish, you know, 23 is the delta there. So pretty similar coming soon, week to week. Back on the market, also still pretty similar, you know, another 25-ish, your delta there. So homes back on the market staying fairly steady. Price increases still really similar to last week. Price decreases, a big jump, 220 additional price decreases this week, right? Very interesting. Pendings, about 150 more on the market this week, or off of the market, right, this week than there were last week. So activities up a little bit, listings are up a little bit. So that's a good thing. Withdrawns really similar, closed really similar to a week ago, right? So that's staying really steady, and expired listings still pretty steady too. I mean, a little bit of a jump there, and that's the most of a jump that we've had, you know, since the beginning of the month. So that's pretty interesting. The fun thing about expired listings is, in my experience, agents will expire their listings on like the end of something, the end of the week or the end of the month or the end of the year. Every now and again, they truly expire, you know, they'll put it like 6 months out to the day. I find that more commonly though, someone will go 6 months out to like the end of the month or the end of the week or something like that instead of to the day. So something to look at. Expired listings, typically much higher right at the beginning of the month, right? So we did see them at the height for May, right, at 124 at the beginning of the month, and now they're kind of trickling up. So we can see what happens there. Okay. Here's another thing to look at. So we've got new listings on the market versus homes going under contract. So we still have a pretty good delta there, right? We are still selling 500 more homes a week than are coming on the market. Which is why this number doesn't really grow that dramatically, right? There were definitely a few weeks here where less were selling than are coming on the market. But if you just do the math over a long enough period of time, this 4,400 is going to be back down to 2,000 before you know it, should this trend continue, right? So some pieces to keep an eye on there. What else do you guys see?
It seems to be very important to make sure your pricing is spot on.
Yeah.
And to be fair, what is spot on at this time?
It's so hard, isn't it? It's so hard. If I were looking at comps right now, you know, as I'm doing a CMA, you're probably getting a range, right? Over the past several months, couple of years, we've been picking the high end of that range, right? We've been driving the high end of that range, and then it's been getting bid up. I would go mid to low end of that range and allow it to get bid up if it's gonna. We're still, obviously, we are still selling more homes than are coming on the market, right? So we are still in a strong seller's market. We are still in highly competitive multiple offer situations in a lot of cases. So as I'm getting that CMA range, I would probably go mid to low end of that range to make sure that I'm pricing for what's happening, what's coming up in the market. And I think that that's going to be really, really differentiated by price band right now. I'd be looking at the absorption rate in each particular price band. We haven't looked at absorption rates really at all much as a number, as an indicator. Maybe we'll take a dive into that on Monday. Take a look at absorption rate, how you figure that, how you factor it, why it plays into this, because I think we'll have a little more time for that conversation on Monday. But I wanted to go into what we were looking at in the MLS recently. No. Go back. Oh, I put this in wrong. 7+ days. So 3143 at 7+ days. Let me pull this back up. 7+ days for 3143. And then 14+ days, 2355, and then 21+ days. We are 1817. So a little bit of a jump everywhere, but the biggest jump at 7+ days. Right? So it's some of the new properties that have come on the market that are seeing those price reductions more so probably than these ones. But we're not seeing a really big jump in listings on the market 21 and 14+ days. Not a big jump. So we can continue taking a look at those pieces too. The deals, these are so fun. These are such fun deals. Hey, I want to share a success story about this because we were talking about MOFRs the other day. And so we were talking about MOFRs, make offer for immediate response. And inside of that, we were talking just a little bit about deals being an offer for immediate response and how you can craft your internet advertising to get people into these types of MOFRs, right? And so just for fun, I created a little command ad the other day all about discount homes for sale in your area. And you could click here to get a list of discount homes for sale in your area. Can I tell you, I don't have a ton of leads on it, but I have a potential buy sell already off of it, which is fun. And it'll go to someone because it's not going to me. But it's really neat. So if you aren't using those types of MOFRs out there right now, no one else is having that conversation. So it's a good time to get in on it. I like it. All right. So, it exists on here somewhere. Is this the one? There we go. All right. So we tracked our numbers, 3 hours of lead gen. Who got their lead gen done today or yesterday? Today or yesterday? Lead gen. I saw some hands go up. Gwen, Adrian. Awesome, guys. Remember, this is the week, right? Pick one of these habits that you know you need to focus on this week and get it done every single day. So if this is your week for lead gen, it's not too late. Get your lead gen done. Lead gen this week. Oh, I didn't. I think I changed this up for Michael's slide deck yesterday, but I didn't get it for ours. So this week, it's all about planning your open house. Tomorrow morning's lead gen is going to be circle prospecting around open house or continued open house prep. And then Friday would be door knocking for your open house. There we go. Next week, we're going to be working a little bit on social media and video. Remember the 4 goals of lead generation. It's to get an appointment or to get a referral or to build that relationship or to build your database, because you've got a strong foundation with your 8x8 and 36 touch program that are going to be converting those people who get into your database, right? So there we go. And then track your numbers every day. If you're using a lead gen tracker like that, you can pop it into the Snap Habit as a picture at the end of the day. I know that Snap Habit reminded me to track my lead gen, but I don't think I got a notification that anybody else had put their lead gen in yesterday. And also, I have some very special swag for whoever figures out how to use that app at a high level. So if you've got some insight into it, you will be my guest for the listing clinic coming up in July. All right. Let's see. develop your skills every single day. Work on something to develop your skills. Whether it's a script practice or role play. I know earlier this week, we talked a lot about the different ways that you can script practice and role play, the different resources that are available. Attend an action focused training, have a coaching or accountability session with somebody who's going to be kind to you and tell you the truth and help you see the truth about your business, not someone who's going to be nice to you and tell you that you're doing good things when you're not necessarily doing the right good things. Okay. Very important. Or read a book. If you need help on which books you're going to read, these are the ones that go along with what we're doing here. Shift by Gary Keller. All of my books are all at the office, which I currently am not. So Shift is the foundational course. Everything that we've talked about in 36-12-3 really is in support of those shift tactics. The Go Giver by Bob Burke, that was last week's book, all about how to come from contribution, give before you receive. A phenomenal story to help get your mindset right when it comes to lead generation, particularly inside of your sphere, right? This week, it's Exactly What to Say, a book about exactly what to say. There's so many golden nuggets in there. And I know a couple of you are in the office today. Melissa, Dahlia, you guys are in the office. If you did not already get a copy of Exactly What to Say, Amy's going to be coming around soon to give you one. Yay! It's your special treat for being in person today. I think I brought it home with me. Oh, I didn't bring it home with me. You know what I did bring home with me? Next week's book, so that I could get a head start on the physical copy, because I've only listened to it. Next week, we're listening to or reading Follow Up and Close the Sale. A real gold mine of follow-up techniques and kind of an instruction guide into different steps that you can put into it. But here's the deal. Exactly What to Say. Just some really good, easy swaps in your language that can help what you're already saying just be way more effective, right? And if you're anything like me, I bet you're looking to be more effective with your language, right? You want to be able to do more with less, help people make the right decisions, right? Just imagine if every time you talk to a buyer or seller, you could help them get off the fence and be more decisive about how they wanted to move forward and choose to work with you. Right? Don't worry. This book is a short, easy read. And I promise if you read this book, then you are going to take several different key phrases away from it that you can use in your business right away. If you've already read this book, then you'll know that I was just using some of those phrases with you, which is why you're feeling so compelled right now. It'll be effortless for you to pick up that book and read it and put it into your business. Good stuff. So I was telling Bonnie about this book and sharing it with her in a way that I just shared it with you, which if you didn't pick up on it, I just used about 5 of the key phrases from Exactly What to Say in this conversation with you guys. And so I was sharing it with Bonnie. And so she was like, oh, so what, you're just gonna teach everybody to talk just like you do? I'm like, what do you mean? She was like, everything that you're telling me, this is like how you talk. This is what I'm like, well, does it work? She was like, yeah, I guess it does. I said, good. Then yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's exactly what I'm going to do. At any rate, you're not going to sound just like me. You're going to do it better than I am and be even more persuasive. So do that, Melissa. When you get back on, we will let you in. Don't worry about it. Okay, next week, Follow Up and Close the Sale. You can listen to it. It's kind of a chunkier book, but it's like I said, it's got a lot of tactics in it. So it's kind of an action plan. So you'll want to have a paper copy of Follow Up and Close the Sale, but you can listen to it as well. All right. Here we go, guys. Remember that your lead generation time includes the preparation for what you're going to be doing, as well as the action you're going to take and the maintenance of what you've done. So after you've taken the action, you've got to update your CRM. You've got to make sure that you follow up on the promises that you've made to the people, do all of those things. But the largest chunk of your lead generation time needs to be the take action piece. If all you do is prepare and maintain, then you're not actually meeting people and having real estate conversations, which means you're not going to get to sell real estate and be their realtor of choice. So, so that's what we got. Okay. Before we jump into telephone prospecting for the day, any feedback on anything that you've done so far? That is, as far as those 4 habits that you're seeing a change in your business. What are you getting from tracking your numbers every day, knowing the market numbers? What are you getting from regular lead generation? Is tracking your lead generation changing your life, or is has developing your skills really made an impact in your business? I want to open it up for just a second. What is it that you've been focusing on over the last 2.5 weeks? Go ahead and take yourselves off mute.
I think for me, I feel more purposeful, and it's just because of the group. So as this group goes on and dwindles away, I need my group. And obviously Charlotte can be part of that accountability, but anybody else who needs that higher level of accountability, hit me up.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Having an accountability partner. If you guys are anything like me, then you're highly persuasive, and you're probably most persuasive with yourself. I can talk myself into and out of anything, but other people don't know my tricks as well as I do, right? So they'll hold me accountable in a whole different way. Love it. What else?
Here, I'm trying to get my camera on. I'm not camera ready today, so I wasn't going to put it on, but it's been very helpful. I mean, I haven't been able to attend all of the sessions just because it's for the entire month, of course, but it's just been very helpful, getting back to basics on some things. And to Gwen's point, just being more purposeful. So once you've been doing it a while, you just get into a habit of a routine, right? And so just being more purposeful in those activities. I would love to see this again in like 6 months as another kind of, just as a suggestion.
I love that. And we're already looking at like, what do we think's been really successful about this kind of, maiden voyage of lead generation 36-12-3, and what will we do differently next time? And some of the big things that we're seeing is just the opportunity for this like sense of camaraderie, right? To be able to be together in this group and to work on our businesses like this has been big. One of the pieces, I think, if we when we bring this back and we do it differently, we may look at a different cadence of the classes, maybe instead of daily doing something else. So we'll be looking at some of those pieces. So any feedback that you have would be awesome. And today we're going to dive into teleprospecting. Just like with all of the other pieces that we've looked at, this is the high-level overview of how you create a holistic approach of teleprospecting, how you can use this as a strategy that supports other pieces. One of the common themes that I've seen occur over the course of this class is we hear about the success stories of others, but we just hear about like the activity that they've done, that high level lead generation activity, right? Like I'll pick on this poor door knocker, right? Who we've been picking on for the whole series. All he does is knock 100 doors every day. And he grosses 2+ million in GCI every year. Is that the truth though? No, I mean, it's obviously more than that. Yeah, one of the key activities is knocking those 100 doors every day, but there's a lot of other pieces that support that. Telephone prospecting is absolutely not an exception to that. In fact, I would say more than any of the other forms of prospecting, because it has a high rate of burnout, the other pieces are super important, especially if you've adopted telephone prospecting as your main prospecting activity. If all you're doing is burning numbers and working on the phone, then you may be better suited working inside of somebody else's organization as an ISA. As a real estate agent who's building a whole business around servicing real estate clients, there's the before and the after that also needs to be considered. And telephone prospecting works most effectively as when it's a supportive part of your lead generation system, not the only activity, right? So let's dive into some of those pieces. This slide may look familiar, right? And particularly for today, I want to make sure that we're doing our diligence and calling it out. The Telephone Consumer Protection Act regulates telemarketing calls, voicemails, and text. A key note to remember is there are no business-to-business exceptions, right? So, you know, we heard from Michael earlier this week. One of his recent lead generation activities has been finding probate lawyers to partner with, right? And to do that, he called through a list of probate lawyers to find those who were open to the partnership and then had face-to-face meetings with them. Those calls are not excluded from the Telephone Consumer Protection Act or from the do not call list. So you need to make sure that anytime you're telephone prospecting, you're keeping these key pieces in mind. The first is if you're found to be in violation of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, then you can face a pretty hefty fine per violation. And you may be thinking, well, $500 for a violation, that's not very hefty. But what the Telephone Consumer Protection Act it's all about mass marketing, right? There are some text or some applications that you can use, some software programs and apps on your phone that you can use to communicate via either voice or text message in mass, right? And if you're doing this in a way that violates the TCPA or the do not call list, and you're found in violation for one of those messages, every single message that was part of that group message will also be fined for that violation. So even if you're found, you know, in violation for one message, but if you sent 100 messages as part of that group text or whatever it is, you can be fined for all hundreds of those. So it adds up really, really quickly. All right, so all of the scary stuff out of the way, it's really easy to be in compliance with the TCPA and the do not call registry. And we're going to talk about that as we go through. Here's two things that you really do want to avoid when you're in this mass communication, is you're going to avoid applications that allow you to send mass voicemail or recorded messages. And there are some applications that do that so that you can record one message that says, "Hi, I have buyers looking for homes in your area. We'd love to bring you a cash offer. If you're interested, call us back at 303-669-2194, the Anna Kibble Real Estate Team." I could absolutely record that and send that out to 1,000 telephone numbers today inexpensively. And that would very likely be a violation of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act because I'm sending mass recorded messages without permission. Okay, so those are things you can do and probably shouldn't. There are also some applications that allow you to bypass the telephone ringing and go right to voicemail boxes with that mass message, right?
I would avoid those too. Another thing that might get you into a little bit of hot water is multi-line dialers. If you're using multi-line dialer, what happens in those multi-line dialers is you're dialing many phone numbers at once, and you're going to get connected live to the one that picks up first. All of the other guys are going to get your pre-recorded voice message, right? See how that can get you in trouble with those recorded mass messages. So just be careful if you're doing those kind of things. If you are telephone prospecting and you're using a single line dialer or a dialer that doesn't have that pre-recorded message, and you are, or your program that you're using is scrubbing the do not call list and local registries, then you're probably just fine. All right, questions about TCPA and compliance and all of those freaking scary warnings I just gave you before we get started on the good stuff?
I have a question I've been wanting to ask you, actually.
Yeah.
So some of the services that I've looked into and that I've had in the past, they scrub the do not call list. So if they get it wrong, who's liable? So you or them?
Well, if they've scrubbed the do not call list, they are the ones that are affirming that, unless you have accepted any of their disclaimers of liability. It's them, but chances are pretty good that when you've accepted the opportunity to use that, you're taking on the risk. So I would read the fine print on the on those pieces. What do you call it? The disclaimers, right? As you're logging into that. I'll tell you from a market center standpoint, the market center does not, for just this reason, does not have our own do not call registry account that we allow our agents to use. We want all of our agents to get their own account. It's very, very easy to do so that you can scrub the do not call registry yourself. And the main reason for that is because when you get access to the do not call registry, you have to go through like 3 or 4 different authorization pages that say, you know, all about how this works, you're going to use it appropriately, you accept the consequences and risk and all of those pieces. And we want our agents to be able to see that and understand what that looks like. I would put money on it that if you're using, like RedX or something like that as your dialer that also scrubs the do not call list, that they've had you sign similar things, even if you don't know you've done it.
Okay, I stopped using the dialer because now the phones, at least mine, and well, a lot of people that I know, that if you call someone from a dialer, it actually shows up on the phone as a scam. So I just don't answer those. So that's when I got rid of it. But I was just curious if that would be a reason to get it back, if that limited my liability. But you're probably right. They probably do have something in the disclaimer.
Yeah, I would agree. And cell phones are getting really, really smart. I think mine identifies 3 different kinds of calls. It says scam or scam likely or something like that. It will actually say telemarketer if the number's been identified as a telemarketer. And then I think there's others as well. And some of them don't even ring. I just get like my phone lights up, but it doesn't even ring, right? I'm special though, because I'm like the last Android user ever. Everybody else has an iPhone, so I'm sure it's different. You and me, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
no?
I'm an Android user all the way.
Yes, there we go. So it does a lot of things. So I'll tell you, even for these types of things, I use a dialer. I'll tell you that I use a dialer, but it calls through my cell phone. It uses my cell phone as a dialer, but it allows me to dial through the computer, and it's just command is my dialer, right? It's really easy to use. I can load a call list in there. I can push the button so it calls and say next. And so but it doesn't scrub for me. So, so I
Wait,
just put it on this.
Did
Mhm.
you just say that command can be a dialer?
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
I just heard that too and wrote it down. Gwen, ask Anna about this later.
How about we demo it? We'll take a look at it today. Remind me as we get through this.
Yes.
We'll look.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Mind
Thank you.
blown. Mind blown. Yes.
Cool. All right. One thing, if there's one thing you get out of today and it's that, then awesome. Actually, Google is your dialer, right? Do you guys use Google Chrome?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm blowing your mind today. It's going to be fun.
Yes, you are.
Let's get back into this. All right. Telephone prospecting. Who can we telephone prospect? There are three major categories. For sale by owners is the first one. And so we're going to talk a little bit about for sale by owners and putting together a full strategy of them. But why are they a for sale by owner? Well, probably because they, generally speaking, don't want to pay a commission. They don't understand the value of what the real estate agent's going to bring, and they think that it's easy enough they can do it on their own. Those are the biggest pieces. Every now and again, it's also because they already have a buyer. So if I'm a seller who already has a buyer, I may not see the need for a real estate agent inside of that transaction to do anything other than paperwork. Right. So we'll take a look at that. That's a really small portion of the sales that happen through the MLS. They're also expired and withdrawn listings. So we're going to talk about the difference between them today so that you can understand why expired, why withdrawn listings, and what you can tackle and what you cannot. But generally speaking, the main reasons a house doesn't sell is because it's overpriced or in poor condition, or it's just not marketed well. We see a ton of that, surprisingly enough, in this market. Why? Because people think you really just throw a sign in the yard and it's going to sell. But who's cringed when they've seen pictures on the MLS that somebody took with their, with not even their cell phone camera? I don't know what they did. They had like their little 8 megapixel Olympia camera or something like that, right? And they took these weird sideways pictures walking through the house. Oh, don't do that. It's like $100 to have virtuals go out there and take at least kind of decent pictures, right? So at any rate, they're not marketed well. Those are the reasons they don't sell. Do not call lists. We've tackled this. You can get more information about the do not call list just by simply Googling it. You can go to telemarketing.donotcall.gov to get more information about how to color inside of these lines. But here's some of the limiting beliefs around these pieces. Well, before we get into the limiting beliefs, your material doesn't cover circle prospecting, which is a really viable form of teleprospecting. And I'm going to throw this in after expireds each time we talk about for sale by owners, expireds, circle prospecting. So circle prospecting is when you call through a specific geographic area with a certain message. So they don't necessarily have their hand raised. And so circle prospecting is probably most similar to traditional telemarketing, right? Whereas with for sale by owners and expireds, they've already at some point raised their hand and said they wanted to sell their house. Inside of circle prospecting, you're looking for people to raise their hand and want to sell their house. So so two kind of different arenas there. Okay. First limiting belief: for sale by owners don't want to deal with a real estate agent. Sorry, my slides aren't matching our materials, that's all. I must have mixed them up or something like that. Well, there we are. Here we go. A limiting belief: you can only succeed with for sale by owners and expireds by being direct and aggressive. I'm on page 17 in your materials. Here's the reality. You're going to win with for sale by owners and expired listings from contribution, establishing trust and staying in touch. It's not always that one phone call that does the trick. It's going to be an entire system around being able to make contact with them. If you think about it this way, trust is the biggest thing you have to reestablish. If it's a for sale by owner, they chose not to work with a real estate agent because at some level they didn't trust the real estate agent would get the job done. Either because they thought they were unnecessary and didn't need it to get the job done, or they've been burned before, right? So it's about trust. And so it's your job to reestablish trust. And the reality is you're unlikely to reestablish trust by being direct and aggressive. You're going to reestablish that trust in a different way by being persistent and consistent over time. Expireds are very similar, right? They hired a real estate agent to get the job done, and the real estate agent didn't get that job done. So being direct and aggressive may win you an opportunity to interview for the job of selling their house, yet it's not going to win their trust back to hiring you for the job. It's going to be coming from contribution. What can you bring to the table, and being consistent and persistent inside of that communication. Ways to win. Well, and so let's back up. We don't have a slide for this, but in your material it talks about reasons to pursue for sale by owner and expired listings. I'm going to say circle prospecting inside of this too. Here's a big one. It takes little money.
Excuse me, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
So just going back real quick to the stuff that you were talking about with the FSBOs, not to be aggressive, and that you're talking about how like if we need to like establish that trust. But like for example, this one time I was doing a FSBO and she let me go she let me go ahead and go in inside her place, and she said that I guess she used to work like with the lending, or I don't recall exactly what it was, but she was kind of familiar with the process, and that's why she wanted to just go ahead and just do it like that. So in that case scenario, what would you have done, or like what would anybody else have done? Because like, you know, I tried to like make that connection and everything and just try to build that trust, but I still didn't get a call back or anything like that. But I mean, like, what would you guys have done differently?
Dahlia, we're going to cover that. We're going to talk about approaching this from a systematic way with for sale by owners. It's not just about the phone call, because oftentimes that phone call is not going to be enough.
No, this was in person. Yeah, so
awesome.
It was a phone call, but then it was in person, so that's why. Okay.
Good. Awesome. Yep, we're gonna build on that, an entire system around building that trust, because that's really what it's all about, right? But so reasons to dive into for sale by owners and expireds and circle prospecting. It takes little money. Really all you need is a telephone and a telephone number, right? And we already have those things. Through the office, we have access to Land Voice, which allows us to do some data mining for this. The biggest expense, if you're going to be pursuing for sale by owners and expired listings on a regular basis, would be having your own system to be able to do the data mining on it. And scrub for the do not call list, whether or not you're using it as a dialer. It takes little time. Once you get this system up and running, you can call through for sale by owners and expireds in a really short period of time. If you were to use your entire 3 hours of lead generation every single day on for sale by owners and expireds, you would be able to hit literally all of them on the market. Right. I mean, because there's just not terribly many of them. They're easy to find. They've already raised their hand, and they've identified themselves as somebody who wants to sell their home, and they're motivated to sell. Circle prospecting, I'll tell you, this is a leveraged activity, similar to door knocking, where you can hit a geographic area, right? So being able to do it on the telephone means you're saving the footsteps between house to house, and it allows you to expand your brand presence in an area. And you can layer circle prospecting along with most other lead generation events or activities, right? Like an open house, or if we look at the 0 to 17 listings, where we are marketing our buyers, right, to find more sellers, we could use circle prospecting as a way to connect with that neighborhood that we're trying to break into. We can use it as a farming strategy. We can use it to simply look for potential buyers and sellers, right? We can use it as just kind of a wide net prospecting activity. We can circle prospect to look for investors, to invite people to a real estate related event or a community event. So we can use circle prospecting just like we would door knocking as a way to reach people with our targeted message. And 6 ways to win with for sale by owners and expired listings. So sometimes it's getting the listing, right? That's the highest and best thing that can happen, is we're going to market to this group of people, and then we're going to win that listing. We are then going to market that listing and win the buyers that come off of that listing, right? But we might also win by finding a buyer for that property, right? And representing that buyer for that property. We might also help them, that for sale by owner or expired, find their next property, or refer them to someone who can help them find it if they're going to be out of town. We could also market their property, hold an open house, or something along those lines to find buyers for other properties, even if it's not theirs. And we could, if the buyer and seller come together organically on their own, we could arrange to transact that business for them. Right? So there's a lot of different ways that you could win. It's not always about taking the listing. So, show of hands, who's got their material right in front of them and who doesn't for logistical reasons. I know if you were in the room, you would have printed material typically, but we're not doing that today.
I have material on my fancy little thing.
I don't have material, but I'm taking notes.
Cool. Love that. Well, so we're going to talk about the direct and the indirect approach. Gwen, since you have material on page 22, Diana Kokoska talks about the direct approach. Would you mind reading that for us?
As soon as I find page 22. Oh, I got it. Hang. It's very tiny, so bear with me. Okay, so when it comes, whoops, hang on. I didn't change the page. When it comes to working FSBOs and expired listings, Diana Kokoska, CEO of Keller Williams Maps Coaching, favors the direct approach. Be honest and straightforward with people, she feels, and they will learn to trust you. First, however, she will ask for permission. Do you want me to be honest with you? Most people will say yes, and so she grants their wish. Diana also favors the call them first and call them often approach. She would call newly expired listings between 7 and 8 in the morning, which gave her the best chance of catching them before they went to work. One of the most frequent answers she heard from prospective sellers when she asked what they planned to do next to sell their home was that they plan to continue working with the same agent. Her response after getting permission to be honest was to say, you know, some people say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting to get different results. I'm so curious, what is your agent going to do this time that they didn't do last time? If the seller said that they were thinking about interviewing other agents, she would say, great, because she was there and ready to be interviewed. If they said they had already chosen another agent, she would say, great, but if your doctor told you that you needed surgery, wouldn't you want a second opinion? This is financial surgery you're getting into. You've got a lot of money tied up in your house. Let's get get together tonight so that I can give you a second opinion. If she didn't get an appointment the first time around, Diana would continue to contact these potential customers until she did, or until they told her to stop. Taking this direct approach is tough for many because it means asking questions, so they self-discover their agent didn't give them the best service, rather than telling them that. But Diana found that her aggressive style resulted in increased business, and at the end of the day, both she and her new customers benefited.
I love that, Diana Kokoska's direct approach, right? If you've been around for a little while and you've been through the BOLD program, then some of that probably sounded familiar because we use a lot of Diana Kokoska's direct approach scripts inside of BOLD, particularly when we're talking to for sale by owners and expired. Does anybody else have their material and wants to read a contrasting indirect approach, which is on page 23? All right, I'm going to go ahead and tackle this one for you. Jean Grubb, an agent in Austin, Texas, took the indirect approach to working with for sale by owners. I never asked for the listing, she reports. Instead, she used a modified 8x8 plan, which she completes in 2 weeks. That time frame was so important because her experience taught her that for most for sale by owners, they were ready to give up within 2 to 3 weeks of trying to sell their house themselves. Jean's strategy was as follows. First, she'd make an appointment to preview the house. Number 2, she'd preview the house. And while doing so, she would look for something she could help out with later. Next, she would write a note thanking the owner for allowing her to preview the home. Step number 4, she would act on the information she gathered in step number 2 to provide some form of help to the homeowner. A flyer with relevant statistics or a tip sheet on fixing up the house. She tried to tailor it to the needs of that particular person and would deliver it in person. Next, she would show the house if she had a potential buyer, and the homeowner had indicated they were willing to pay a buyer commission. Step number 6, she would offer to host an open house. She explained that since she was looking for buyers in general, and the homeowner was looking for a specific buyer, they could both benefit. She did this only if the homeowner was willing to pay a buyer side commission. If at this point they're not willing to pay that commission, she would move on without pushing the matter. 7, she would offer to advertise the house on her website. If they agreed, she would advertise the home as a for sale by owner and include the price and the general location, but not give a specific address. To gather additional information, a prospective buyer would need to contact her directly. And then step number 8, she would send or drop off another flyer with some personalized information about the local market. Jean liked to keep her for sale by owners she was working with informed of the homes that had just sold in the area. This gave her the opportunity to talk with them about why the other house sold, but the FSBO was still on the market. On occasion, if a for sale by owner asked her why another house had sold, and if that house was still pending, taking backups or whatever, she would take that customer to look at the house. And if her timing was right, as it often was, the homeowners were starting to tire of handling the job themselves, and she would also often take the listing without even asking for it. A perfect example of winning big with an indirect approach. So this is, for Jean, a whole system. What are your takeaways of the difference between the way Diana approached this and the way that Jean does?
It struck me that this is two very different personalities, and yet because it covers these two, I mean, there's many other personalities, but I think that this fits the majority of people. You can do FSBOs either this way or this way.
Yeah, and one is like more aggressive and the other one's lighter. Like it's more like, okay, if you want to, and if you don't, then I'll go ahead and walk away. And the other one is more persistent.
I think they're both persistent. They're just persistent in a different way. Because this lady's an 8x8 in 2 weeks is pretty persistent.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. 8 touches in
Yeah.
essentially in 8 days, right? You know what I think my biggest aha was? I don't think it's an or. I think you can utilize both a direct and an indirect approach. I think you can be strategic about the conversations you're having and layer this into a system over time, right? I think I can start planting seeds with that for sale by owner using some of those tough questions like Diana asks, right?
Oh yeah, right.
Right. I mean, I can be touring the house and ask questions, you know, like, gosh, your phone's got to be ringing off the hook. I'll bet it's distracting to have all of these agents calling you all day, isn't it? Right. And start planting the seeds that this is a lot of work.
Hey, Anna, I've got a quick question.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with the do not call list. With the for sale by owners, they're advertising. So would they not be, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have to scrub them, right?
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what I thought, and I have called that way, but when you kind of reminded everybody the extent of those fines, I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Where you might get into trouble is if you're using mass communication systems with for sale by owners, if you're sending them pre-recorded messages and those kind of things. Generally speaking, if you are live dialing an individual person, it's going to be one of two things. They're either on the do not call list or they've raised their hand saying you can call them, which is what a for sale by owner has done. They've raised their hand and said that you could call them. Expireds are different though. Expireds do not have their hand raised looking for a phone call. So you have to make sure that that expired is not on the do not call list. Yeah. Here's one of the big pieces, I think, with Jean's approach, right? She looks for ways to come from contribution when she's working with for sale by owners. To say it's actually part of her strategy, right? When she previews that house the first time she's in there, she's looking for the things she can do that helps them, right? She's looking for a way to bring value to that conversation. Right when she's previewing the home. In fact, I think that's probably why she's previewing the home, right? Is so that she can look for a way to come from contribution, a way to help them out. Here's the next piece, right? Persistence. Whatever approach you're going to take, you're going to have the most success when you stick with them over time. Lots and lots of people make those first phone calls, particularly to expired listings. And when a listing goes expired, that first day and that first week, they're getting a lot of phone calls. But if you stick on over time, right? Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else has an overtime persistent approach. So I love that, that's exactly what Jean does. She's continuing to stay in touch with them over the course of that first 2 weeks, the first 2 to 3 weeks. So let's dive much deeper into working with a for sale by owner. The 6 important pieces to prepare for this. Have your conversations ready. Know what you're going to say to them. There are some scripts that you're going to see in this material here. Pages 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. So there are a handful of scripts and objection handlers in there, right? So when you're calling, this is part of your prep work. Make sure you know what you're going to say and you're prepared for what they are going to say back, and know the strategy that you're going to take. Are you going to start with a direct or an indirect approach? Right? Are you going to start off asking to interview for the job of selling their house, or are you going to start off asking to preview their home? Right? Pick a path and stick with it. And it's okay if you're going to switch that path, right, from day to day, but just know which direction you're going to go. Be prepared for those conversations, right? Prepare materials to give them. Once you've had a conversation with for sale by owner, you're going to be preparing that 8x8 plan and the value that you're going to bring to the table for them. So what is that going to be? Or is it going to be a just listed or a just sold report so they can see their competition? Are you going to prepare, a 7 ways to stage your home to sell report or something like that? Do you have an item of value that you can give them? And create your own step-by-step plan, just like Jean has done. There is an 8x8 that we're going to review in a moment, and you can revise that so it fits your need. But this is condensed. This is not 8 touches in 8 weeks. Right? This is 8 touches in the first 2 to 3 weeks. So 8x8, 8 touches in 8 days, right? You're going to really be focused on creating that relationship. And the way you're going to build trust is just by showing up consistently over time, right? Show up consistently over time, give before you ask for business in return. So here's that example of what that 8x8 could look like, right? So you can customize this yourself, right? It says preview the property.
I know
and
we're not seeing your screen.
You're not? Well, that's fun. No, you're definitely not. There you go. Because I'm not sharing it. That's why. Okay. Now are you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, cool. For sale by owners, 8x8. So here is a sample of what that could look like, right? Preview the property and leave a for sale by owner packet or a pre-listing packet. In your material, there's a sample of what's in that packet, right? It has testimonials. It's your branded material. So it has a folder maybe with your business contact information on it, right? Has a cover sheet. Here's a few. It could have a sign-in sheet, right? In case that for sale by owner is going to hold an open house. It's going to have a service provider list. These are your service providers, like your best people, right? Some security tips, a litigation checklist. These are, this might be like our seller advisory, right? From Damien, right? Our seller advisory, preparing your home for sale sheet, seller disclosure instructions, may have a copy of the various disclosures in it. What is it? That HOA form that Donna really loves, the,
Like
common
CSE
interest community
checklist.
checklist. Yeah, something like that on it, right? Some of your business cards, and of course, all of your propaganda, like who you are, your testimonials, why you're so great. So you're going to build this packet up in such a way where you're giving them a ton of materials, but you're also kind of overwhelming them with the job of selling their house. This is a lot of work, right? So it says this is information you want to provide before a seller becomes your customer. You don't want your seller to think he's already gotten everything from you. So you may want to let them know. So it says you may want to let them know that you give your customers a list of service providers, or you give your customers a few things. So you may have a list of things in your packet, and this is what it says, to star some certain things and say that only my clients will get this list of service providers, right? So that it creates a little bit of exclusivity. But you're going to want to create this value add for your sellers. or for the for sale by owner. After you've previewed the property, send something, send a postcard or a letter for each touch, and then call after the mailing. So send them a handwritten note or drop off something at their property and then call them and make sure that they've gotten that, right? How is it going on the sale of your house? Have you had a lot of interest? I sent you, I sent you a letter the other day. I just wanted to make sure that you received it. And keep kind of rinse and repeat, right? So you're going to have a touch with a call in between. And you can customize those touches in between. Different postcard subjects if you're going to be doing some mailers inside of here, or dropping off some items of value. Mail's a little slow these days, so you may be better suited door dropping these items of value, just dropping them off at the property. But some suggestions on page 33, it says, you might have some items of value around pricing a home properly, around the condition of a property, making sure it's in a condition to sell, about what the competition is in the market, what other listings have sold or come on the market, how to market a property, right? You may have some information about the different ways to market a property to sell, how to handle a showing, what to do when you need to do a price reduction, marketing for a price reduction, and what do I do now? Gene Rivers says that he uses these postcard touches with his for sale by owners. At the end of this campaign, they're ready to give up, right? Because this is a lot of work. So think of how you could use these as ways to come from contribution, but also to demonstrate your value, right? Because you can do both, right? You can help somebody navigate this challenging part of the transaction by demonstrating how you're an expert in that challenging part of the transaction. Oh, there you go. There you go. All right. As you're working on for sale by owners, think about some statements, some information, some questions that you might have. Look through these scripts. There are, there's some more for sale by owner scripts here. 36, 37, 38, 39. There's a whole chunk of them. So you may want to bookmark those to take a look. After you have had the conversation with them, you're going to set the appointment to go to their house. That's what these scripts do. They set an appointment to go to their house. One of two things will happen. You're going to go to their house either for a listing presentation or to preview the property. The script will take you either direction. Okay. And that's when the magic starts, when you're able to get that appointment to go to their house, even if it's just to preview the property, right? Use Gene's system to build the trust after you've done that. And then you're going to follow up, make sure you put everybody in your database, you implement that 8x8, send a thank you note for any referrals that they've given you. And they very well may, especially if you've done a really good job of being a human being, coming from contribution and demonstrating your value on this, and follow up until they list or sell. Just because you didn't get into their property that day that you had the phone conversation, continue following up until then. And if you have gotten into their property, all you have to do is be the last realtor standing. They're going to list with somebody. All you have to do is be the one that stays in touch with them. So when they're ready to list, it's with you. That's funny. Spam risk was the phone call I just received. So, yep, that happens all the time, right? Here we go. Let's talk about working with expired listings. you're going to see something really similar here, right? It's about the whole picture approach. Yes, there are some great scripts you're going to use when you're on the phone with an expired listing, but you're also going to prepare materials to give them. The scripts you're going to use on the phone with an expired listing are going to do one of two things. They are going to, first and foremost, get you the opportunity to interview for the job of listing their home, or second, preview that listing for a potential buyer, right? So they're going to do one of two things. So know what you're going to say, prepare the materials to give them, create your 8x8, check the do not call list for your expired listings, or get them from a source that already does, and then create your 8x8. Here's an example of what it might look like. On the day you call them, you may also hand deliver an expired packet. Okay, what's in that expired packet? It's going to have your marketing materials, right? So it says a logo folder with your business name and contact information, something that stands out, that's all about you. A cover sheet. Who are you? Why you're the agent to sell their house? Facts about expired listings. This might be something that you create, right? A mission statement, an introduction to you, testimonials, business cards. This is going to be a lot about who you are. Okay, who you are, and it's going to be less about what you do to get homes to sell. This is not your marketing plan. This is not your pre-listing package. This is your resume. So you're going to drop off a resume, make a telephone call to follow up, right? And there's some scripts for that follow-up call in here as well. The next day, you're going to send them a postcard or letter, an item of value, right? Follow up with an additional telephone call. After that, you're going to follow up with a marketing statistic or a special report, right? Follow up with a telephone call, send them a postcard or a letter that highlights your marketing ability, or a copy of your marketing plan. This is where you're going to start getting into some of the things that might be in your pre-listing packet. This is where you're going to start talking about what you do and make a telephone call to follow up. So you will find 5, 6, 7 pages of different scripts in here that walk through the telephone process for an expired listing. And then you're going to go to their house, right? You're going to drop off this expired packet. My favorite way to do this, you can do it yourself. You can have a courier deliver it, you can have somebody else deliver it, you can do anything. But I'll always use like a FedEx envelope or UPS envelope or something like that, you know, the free ones that are just above the box. I'll use one of those because people grab that. They're going to look for it, right? So all of my material is going to go in that FedEx envelope. I'm not going to FedEx it to you, right? Unless I have to, right? Unless there's absolutely no way anyone I know can hand deliver this to your door. I might overnight it to you. But I'll save myself the $70 and drop it off on my way out of the office or to a showing or whatever, right? I'm going to hand deliver that, put it in a FedEx envelope. This is not an exhaustive list of what your 8x8 could look like either, by the way, right? You're going to build it out over time. Here's the piece that wins. You're consistently staying in touch with them over time, right? And you're going to utilize those conversations to help grow their trust in you so that you can earn the right to interview for the job to sell their house. So your follow-up, drop off that expired packet, put them in your database to continue to market to. Excuse me. Put them in your database to continue to market to, so that you can continue to stay on top of them, particularly if they do not immediately relist. Okay, steps for circle prospecting. Very similar here, right? you're going to prepare your conversations ahead of time. You're going to prepare your scripts ahead of time. You know why you're circle prospecting, and then pull your list accordingly. So some common themes around a circle prospecting list. Maybe I have a buyer looking for a home in your area. Who do you know that's looking to sell? Right. Something that I know a few people have been using recently is a cash offer, right? If I were to bring you a cash offer on your home, would you be interested in selling? Is that something that you would consider? So you can circle prospect around just about any MOFR that you have. Could become a reason to circle prospect. But let's also look at open houses or community events. That would be another reason to circle prospect. Calling around your open house. You could also call around a just listed or just sold. We just sold a home in your area, and it was a multiple offer situation. So there are several buyers who are still looking for a home in your area. Would you be interested in selling? Right? Or we've just listed a home in your area and it's, it's moved very quickly. We've had a multiple offer situation. There are many buyers still interested. Have you considered selling, or do you know someone who has? Right? Lots of different reasons to circle prospect. If we were to implement that, strategy that we learned about in 0 to 17 listings last week, then I might circle prospect around that area. I just got a buyer under contract, right? To let them know of the upcoming neighborhood events, right? I just represented the buyer who moved into your neighborhood, and we are having a welcome party. So at the park or at the corner of XYZ on the 22nd, we're going to have a food truck. We'd love to invite all of you. It's going to be, Tacos by Terry, and they're giving us a 2-for-1 discount. It's going to be awesome. We hope to see you there. Right. So utilizing that as a strategy, any sort of community event would be a good reason to circle prospect. And what we're doing when we're circle prospecting is we either have a direct offer for immediate response or an indirect offer for immediate response. That direct offer for immediate response would be, I have a buyer looking in your neighborhood. Would you be interested in selling? Right? Or if I brought you a cash offer, would you be interested in, would we be interested in having a conversation about selling your house? That would be a direct offer for immediate response. Or I might have an indirect offer for immediate response, which would be, we're having this client appreciation event, right? Or we've got the food truck coming into your neighborhood, or there's an open house. I'd like to invite all of the neighbors, right? Indirect offer for immediate response. Either way, I'm looking to do one of 4 things as I'm calling. I am either looking to make an appointment to list or sell your house, get a referral to somebody who's ready to list or sell their house. Maybe I have spoken to you before and I am growing that relationship, or I'm going to add you to the database. Right. One of the keys in circle prospecting is to take that initial MOFR to the next level and always ask if they want to be included in your email list, right? I represent a lot of buyers and sellers in your neighborhood. And so from time to time, I send out some really relevant market information about home prices, what's selling, neighborhood schools, and even the local businesses. I'd love to get you set up for that. It just goes out once a month. I promise I won't spam you. What's the best email address to be able to send this market update to, right? So I'm collecting additional information and I'm getting the opt-in for them to continue communication with me, which will allow me to then nurture that relationship over time so that the trust has grown and I become the realtor of choice, right? So I'm looking to do one of those 4 things as I'm circle prospecting. My follow-up plan on circle prospecting may not be as robust as it is with for sale by owners and expired listings. Unless I obviously get a yes on the phone. If I have a direct offer for immediate response and they say yes, then I'm going to take that opportunity to go and have that listing appointment with them right away, right? But if I get that indirect yes, like, oh, okay, great, thank you for, for the invitation to the food truck, or yes, here's my email for the email list. I'm not necessarily going to be showing up at their house with a market report and putting them on an 8x8 days, but I might put them on an 8x8 week, my traditional 8x8 campaign, right? The same one that we developed last week over a longer period of time, where I'm going to follow up with item of value, with the email, and with the telephone call to make sure that they receive that item of value or that email, right? As I add them to my database. Questions about kind of the difference in the strategies between the for sale by owners, expireds, and the circle prospecting? Cool. Let's dive into a couple of quick pieces here. Let's see. Let's share my screen again. Okay. How you can do all of this through command. Can you guys see screen 2 here? Steps for working expired listings. Do you see that? I'm going to hop into command. For you Mac and iPhone users, I don't speak Mac or iPhone. I don't know if this works for you the way it works for me, but I'm going to show you how it works for me. Here's the secret. It's a really weird secret. Okay. My Google.
Hey, I just realized you're not recording, and I know I'm going to want this later.
Oh, I swear I was.
It is recording.
It is recording.
Oh, good. Good,
Yeah,
good. Because it doesn't show that on my side. Good. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. I'm like, I promise I'm recording. All right. So the first thing, it has to do with your Google account. So you want to make sure that your Google Chrome account, you're logged into the same browser on both your phone and here. And you know what? I'm going to do this too, because this is really fun. Let me see if I can get this to pull up. Sheetan and I discovered the other day that I can actually see my phone on my computer, which is really slick. That I don't know if y'all can do. That is a Microsoft thing with Google, and so it's called Phone Link. So let me put it over here. Can you guys see the phone link on top of my command screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I can actually share my phone screen. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Here's my phone screen. So this is, I'll make it like a little bigger so you can see kind of actual size. Here's my phone screen. Okay. You guys see my phone screen?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the deal. I'll pull this up here. Your Google account here that you're in Chrome, your whatever account you're signed into Chrome on, needs to be the same account that you're signed into your Google account on. Let's see, I don't know what I was Googling last. Oh yeah, what day is Father's Day? Good. It was like totally innocuous. Could have been something really weird and random. Glad it wasn't. Here we go. Okay, so it needs to be signed into the same account. So you'll see I'm not in the same account. I'm in a different one. So I'm going to actually sign out and sign back in. Otherwise it won't work. So I come into settings. I'm on the wrong account. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to sign out of my Google account, and then I'm going to continue on another account. I'm going to sign into my Kibble account. Okay. Okay, so now on my computer and on my phone, I am in the same Chrome account, or at least I should be. Let's go back. Let me hop back in. Should be the same Chrome account. Come on. I swear I just did it. Yeah, same Chrome account. There we go. If you're not in the same Chrome account, this won't work. So be on the same Chrome account. And it's literally the easiest thing. I'm going to go into command and I'm going to load whatever contact list I have here. Ooh, how about I go to some of these these leads that I was just getting. I bet they're in the other account. I don't see any in here, and there should be some somewhere. Let's see. Come in, leads. No. Oh, that's why. It's only apply. The Smart View one. Here we go. So I can load a list, whatever list I want, filter it however I want to. I get to this first number on the list and I literally just call it. And now it's going to call it from my Samsung phone. And now you'll see what happens on my phone. Let me pull my phone back up. Where's my phone? There it is. So I got a notification on my phone. It's tap to make a call. And so I just call it from my phone. And I don't know who this is. So, but then I'm calling it from my phone. And then from here, I can just write my notes. I can say what happened during the call, all of those things, just right in here. And then as soon as I'm done with whatever happened here, I just go next and I can call my whole list this way, call them, make a call. And now you'll see it shows up on my phone, tap to make a call, and I just call them. Oh, somehow she's in my phone. That's awesome. So this is because of Chrome and how Chrome interacts. I can also, and this is really fun, where else might I find a quick phone number? How about this? This is one of my favorites, right? This is all of you guys. This is our agent roster. This is our leadership team keeps your information. So I can, let's have some fun. Gwen, if I wanted to call you from here, I can find you. I'm just going to highlight your number and right click on it. And I can actually call you right like that. And it does the same thing. So that just sent a notification to my phone. So you'll see it up here, that notification, tap to make a call, Gwen Ham. And so you never have to type a number again.
Okay. This is the whole reason I even use a dialer, is because picking up my phone means I see other things, but if and then I'm distracted. So then I have to find the contact in here or hit the little buttons and all of that. If I can just click a thing to continue through, it's going to be a whole lot less distracting.
So you might look at whatever this app is called too. I have it on my phone and my computer. It's called Phone Link. I have a Microsoft, operating system on my HP computer, but I think this is Microsoft Phone Link is what it's called. And then there's an app on my phone. And so what actually will happen, I have it turned off now because I found it wasn't working for me, but you can set it up so that I don't ever even have to touch my phone. It will give me a little button here. And so I don't even have to touch my phone. it will do it all from here. So I can leave this on the charger, which I strategically have out of reach, and I can do everything just on my computer. And then I'm not seeing all of the stuff. I'm not checking the text messages. I'm not, you know, my thumb's not finding the Facebook button and doing a random scroll for no reason. I'm not, there's no other notifications. I'm just calling and doing right, getting right into my phone.
I love this so much.
I can't remember how to turn it off and turn it back on, but yeah, phone link is the thing for that. Yeah, phone link.
So
Mhm.
it's literally phone link, Chrome, and command. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, can you show us your screen again?
Yep.
Because there was something, it showed up for just a second, but then will you move like this right here? Oh, you can't see my mouse. Nope. Like,
You know what?
that
Hold on.
and
Let me
watch.
see if I can give you control really quick. That's a thing that oh, it won't let me. I was gonna say that's a thing that Zoom used to let me do, is let you have control of my mouse. Maybe that's a.
I'll tell you what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So I saw really quick, it popped up in your timeline that said phone call, which I thought was cool because then you know what time you called, right?
Yes.
I'm curious if, because I know that there are programs that offer this. Is that phone call recorded? Because it looks like the length of the call is on there.
No, it's not the length of the call. I just put a number in there.
Oh, you did
That's
that.
what it's
Okay.
recording. Yep. So, so called, and then I just typed something, but it, you know, just because you have to have a description to save it. And so that's all. So it just tells us the,
Got it. Okay.
yeah. It
But
would
I
be
think that
super cool
real-
if you could then record it and pop it in there. I have found there are some apps that allow you to record phone calls, but they actually record the audio on the phone. So if you're using any sort of headset, they don't record the call because it's not going directly through the phone, it's going through your headset. So it's really weird. I haven't found one that will record calls appropriately when using a headset. And I'm always using a headset. So that's all.
It's just, it would be nice for educational purposes to go back, and if you are noticing a trend, you know, you're not scheduling appointments one day, or maybe you are like on fire one day, to go back and look at what did I do different? What did I say different?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I heard somebody else come off mute just a second ago.
I think it was Dahlia.
Oh, it was me, Melissa. I thought I saw something on the bottom corner of your phone that looked like it might be a record button, but I'm not sure. Like, what is that little tape?
Oh, that's my
Okay.
voicemail.
Oh, dang it.
My voicemail. I do have in one of my apps. I don't know how to get to my apps in here because I usually just like swipe up. Maybe it's that button. I don't know. I don't know how to get to my apps on here because I do that. Oh, there we go. That's where they are. But I do have a voice recorder that I use in my apps slightly frequently, at least. Yep. Yep. Did you guys see this? Most important piece. Snow Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I bring it with me every time. Every time.
It is because you're coming out on Friday, aren't you? Oh, goodness. All right. So load a list in command. Boom, boom, boom. I'm sure for you Mac users, like your phone and your computer do the same thing. I'll bet that's not a problem. But yeah, kind of my favorite thing. You can call them or you can send a text with Twilio directly through here if you use Twilio on there. Yep. Okay.
Anna, this is all very useful, but the last 5 minutes, awesome.
I'm glad I can help.
Of course, I may be in your office tomorrow with my phone and my laptop going, show me again.
Or you could wait until Monday and then there'll be 2 of us.
I'm in
Perfect,
the same
done.
boat. I'm in the same boat as well. Like repeat.
That would probably be better because I'm pretty sure I still have active germs and my office is now on the other side of Highlands Ranch for the rest of the week because I cannot be around people until Sunday, according to the fancy little calculator presented to us by the CDC, which is really fun.
Maybe Tuesday.
She wants to be sure.
For sure. I would want to be sure also. Yeah, this is no fun. No bueno, for sure.
Does that work for you, Gwen and Dahlia? Can we go ahead and schedule this? I'm sorry, but can we schedule this?
Yeah, we're in anyway, right? Lead genning.
Yes, yes.
So this will be good to be able to use it.
Okay, well,
What time?
here we go.
Be serious
Let's
business
see.
here. Hang on, let me look at my
Okay.
calendar.
All right. I put my calendar up strategically as well so that you guys can all see exactly what's going to have to happen in the world for us to do this. No, so we've got lead gen blocked on Tuesday morning, so we could tackle this on Tuesday morning. Here's what I'm thinking. Tuesday morning, I think we're also lead genning. We're doing command ads. Does that sound right? Yeah, we're doing command ads. So we could plan on, we could tackle this kind of live in person because it goes along with command ads. Ooh, there's one more fun thing I wanted to show you guys. Actually, the thing that why I linked my phone. You want to see some more fun?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, if you insist. So mass communication, right? No bueno on the TCPA, right? But text communication is awesome, right? So many people respond so much better by text. You can mass text through Twilio. You're going to get that nice disclaimer. That is a true mass text. It comes from from a separate number, which is probably a good thing. But if you were doing, like, let's say you were going to be doing circle prospecting for a neighborhood event or something like that, right? Let's say you wanted to do some prospecting, some text or text messaging to your sphere from your cell phone number. And you wanted to do so in such a way where it wasn't a mass text message, but it didn't take you all day to text like 100 people. So there are 2 apps that I want you to take note of. If you have an iPhone, then you're going to like an app called Reach. I don't think I have Reach on mine anymore because I used it for my Android and I don't love it so much. But if you have Android, then you're going to do the same thing with this app called Hit 'em Up. Hit 'em Up. Oh, I love it. It's my favorite thing ever. Hit 'em Up works with my Google contacts. So what I do is I create a group of contacts inside of Google Contacts. And these are some of my prospecting lists. And so you'll see how I use it. I'm going to do it live here with you guys. So it's no secret. A piece of what I do is recruiting. And so I work with other agents and I prospect to them to see if they might want to meet with me and have a conversation about Keller Williams. And so this is one of those lists. So here's what this text message looks like. Yours can look like anything you want it to look like, right? Hi, my name is Anna. I operate the Keller Williams. Would you be interested in meeting with me? And so I have actually a list of people loaded in here already, and I'm going to go ahead and send this message. Oh, no, I want to, hold on. I want to resume sending it because I've been sending this a lot. I've got a lot of people on my list. So I'm going to send this message to Jennifer. She's the next person on my list, and I'm just going to say send, and then I go back and I go back, and now it's automatically going to load the next person on my list, and it's going to pop their name in there, and I'm going to send this different Jennifer the same message. And now let's say I have communicated with this person before. Watch, it's going to happen in just a second. I've communicated with this person before. I love how easy this is to do with my computer too. I may do it this way going forward. I'm going to very soon get to somebody who I've talked to before, because I talked to a whole bunch of agents. But see how easy this is? I've just sent like 6 messages while we were on. You could craft this message to your sphere. Hey, I've got a pool party coming up. I wanted to just make sure that you got the invitation, and you use placeholders, and it literally takes me 30 minutes to send 250 text messages. Which isn't like, that's not amazing. It's not 1,000 instantly, right? But it is way better than not. So really, really easy to use. One of my favorite text messaging hacks. Each one of these is an individually sent message from me directly, that when they respond, it goes, this is my messaging app. Like, there's no separate place for me to go. Everything's right in here. And I'm so surprised I haven't run into somebody I've actually sent a message to yet, but I'm going to keep going. It's going to happen here.
So
Hopefully
Anna,
within-
will these fall into your messaging app on your phone, or they live in Hit Me Up?
No,
Hit 'em up.
it actually, what's happening is Hit Me Up actually opens my text message app each time I do it. So I go back to Hit Me Up, and that just opened my text app. So this is actually sending through my text message app, whichever one I use. on my
Okay,
phone.
that's perfect. That's probably why it's not a mass thing, because it's not staying in this app. The app is
Right.
just the sending mechanism.
Yeah, it just is the easy button to do this. It's this literally the same as me opening my text message app, putting in the phone number, copying and pasting a message to it, and then doing that over and over and over again. So it just creates a shortcut to that. So if you've ever done that and don't like to do that, do this instead. Reach or Hit 'em up for Android. It's gonna happen at some point. I will have communicated with these people before, and the beauty of that is you can see that, because it's just opening my app, it shows me all of the history I've had with them. Come on.
Okay, as a side note, I recognized a couple people, and that Jen Karpinski, it used to be Stensa. I went to middle school and high school with her, so you can drop my name. I'm still friends with her.
I love that.
Ish.
Well, so here's what also happens. Every now and again, I'll run across somebody, like, let's just pretend for whatever reason, like this person on my list, I don't want to send them this message. I simply don't push the send button, and I just push back and go to the next person and skip them. And it saved that message as a draft, and then, right. So all of these happen. I'm going to just go to one more just to see. But then just so you can see, let me close this here and go to my text message app. So that's it. Here's all of them right here, right? Yeah. It's really hard to do, like, from my, but yeah, so you can see here's all of the ones. And so I've already got messages back, like Jennifer Hudson's like, thank you, but I'm happy, right? There's all those messages I just sent while we were sitting here in class together. So if you are doing any text messaging for your business, easy button here. Love it, love it, love it. One of my favorites ever. Game changer for me.
I love it. I've already got it downloaded.
Yeah, play with it. With the Google contact groups, that's the magic there, is you can group your people that way. Here's the fun thing. You can export them from Command and then import them into Google contact groups. That's how I did mine. I made them a group in Command. I exported that group and then I imported them into Google contact groups. It took like 5 minutes and now I can text them from my cell phone like this.
This is a great way of doing invites and stuff if you know you're only doing it to your A list
Yes,
or whatever.
if you absolutely need it to come to yourself from your cell phone number. And for me, I absolutely need it to come from my cell phone number because any other number is coming up as spam,
It
right?
could be
It's
going
coming up
straight to
as spam.
spam. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. Cool.
Did
I
we
don't have
decide
anything
on a
else for you
time on
guys today.
Tuesday? I'm sorry, did we decide on a time Tuesday? Or did we? or
Well,
is
so we've
that-
got lead gen starting at 9:30 on Tuesday morning. So during that lead gen block, I have time, I'm in the office and I have time blocked from 9:30 to 11 on Tuesday morning. So we can, if you guys are in the office doing lead gen, we can include another demo of this with it. And then if you want to stick around after that, we're going to be running ads together in Command. We're going to be soup to nuts doing like the ad with the follow-up smart plan and getting it all set up. So that's the lead generation that we're doing on Tuesday morning. So I'm happy to lead with this, with linking your phone stuff.
Okay,
Can I do that?
so I'll
I'll
be
be
in
at
at 9,
Snadra.
8:30.
No,
I'll-
I won't be available before that.
Okay, so 9:30.
9:30.
I won't
is my
schedule any
organization.
appointments
Okay.
in the morning because I try to schedule as many appointments as possible. I won't schedule any in the morning just so I can come and see you.
I love that.
Okay.
I love that. I love that. Yep. Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you tomorrow for farming and door knocking. Ooh, I have some fun for farming and door knocking. I have some examples to share, all kinds of fun stuff. Been looking forward to that one the whole session. Okay, we'll see y'all then. Bye, guys.